things, it's Ian from RTO. Welcome to the Sophomore Drome. Only two go in, only one come out. And today we've got two American bands that went on to do big things. But this is when they all started, really. So we've got Blue Oyster Cult and Kiss today. And first one up today, because it came out first, is Blue Oyster Cult's second album, Tyranny and Mutation. This came out on the 11th of February 1973. Playing on here we've got Eric Bloom on vocals, rhythm, guitar and keyboards, Duck Dharma on lead guitar and vocals, Joe Bouchard on the bass and vocals, Albert Bouchard on the drums and vocals, and Alan Lanier on rhythm, guitar and keyboards. So this album starts off with one of my favourite tracks by Blue Oyster Cult, The Red and the Black. I just love that opening. It's great rocky guitars. The drumming from Albert is brilliant. It's just a fantastic opening track. Then we get OD'd on Life Itself. This is another good track. The drumming, once again, is fantastic. The guitar work from Eric and Alan is brilliant, and Duck Dharma, they all do some great work on that one. Then we got Hot Rails to Hell. Real heavy for its time, meaty riffs. You got it's got some nice little bits of keyboard and drums, and the bass live from Joe's brilliant. It's just another fantastic track. 7, Screaming Debusters. It's got a bit of a drum solo in the middle of it, pretty solid track. Then side 2, we've got Baby Ice Dog. This is more the bluesy sound. I love the lead guitar work on this from Donald. It's really good, excellent track. Then Wings Wetted Down. It's got some interesting riffs on this. So it's got a bit of a Tony Iommi ring to it, some of the riffs on that one. It's pretty cool. Teen Archer. Another good track. Solid. It's pretty consistent, this album. Then we have Mistress of Salmon Salt, Quick Lime Girl. It's just dominated by some great riffs, some great singing. Great track to end the album. Now, I've always thought this is probably one of their heavier albums. They've moved on. They've sort of developed that sound off the debut. It's just a very solid album from top to bottom in my books. Love listening to this album. So that's what I think of it, but what did the critics think? Now, Tyranny and Mutation did receive mixed reviews from critics. Gordon Fletcher of Rolling Stone wrote a rave review of the album and called Blue Oyster Cult one of the best bands America's got. I quite agree. Robert Christgau, writing for the Village Voice, praised the bands for disregard for the entire heavy ethos, but wondered if the parody surreal refraction of abysmal poetry in a heavy oh god, he didn't have talk some waffle. The Rolling Stone guide described the album as one of molten hook after another. He's right, it's just song after song. Ian MacDonald of the British Music Express was very critical of it. Crass Satan and Speed sadism lyrics on the band's music which tend to leave the listener shaken but emotionally unstirred. So here's a few mixed reviews. Let's have a look at the ratings. All Music gave it 4.5 stars. Chris Gell's Record Guide gave it a B+. Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal, what's it doing in there? 8 out of 10. The Encyclopedia of Popular Music gave it 3 stars. The Rolling Stone Album Guide gave it 4.5. Didn't chart over here, but it got to number 122 on the US Billboard 200 in 1973. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality, some really strong songs on here. They hadn't reached perfection yet, but they were well on the way, so I will give this a 4 out of 5. Production, some of the production's a little bit, but you've got to remember it's 1973. They haven't got all the, but it's solid all the way through, so I shall give that a 3 out of 5. Reception, mixed, mostly good reviews from the critics. The American public didn't take to it, but you know, when you get 4.5 star ratings and 8 out of 10s, it's pretty good, so I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Cover design, I hate this cover. I like the cuboid thing, but it's the swirlies and it doesn't do much for your eyes, so I'm going to have to give that a 1 out of 10. So the grand total for Tyranny and Mutation by Blue Öyster Cult gives us a total of 12 out of 20. So let's move on to the next band. This one's Kiss. I don't have to say too much about Kiss. And their second album, released on the 22nd of October 1974, Hotter Than Hell. Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Peter Criss and Ace Frehley. The classic lineup for Kiss. So this one opens with Got to Choose. It's a good opening track. I love the riffs. I do like that bass line from Gene Simmons. It's pretty good. Then we have Parasite. I love this track. I just love the bass line again. It's got a nice lead guitar on from Ace, and he actually plays bass on Parasite for some reason. I don't know, but it's a good track. Going Blind, nice track. Some nice drumming here from Peter. It's a really hard hitting and crisp, excellent track. Hotter Than Hell, my favourite track on here. It's a classic from Kiss. Paul, his vocals are pretty cool on that. Let Me Go, Rock and Roll, another of those great tracks off this album. If it mentions the word rock and roll, you know it's going to be good. It's great vocals as well. Excellent track. Then we've got All the Way, another of them Gene Simmons songs. Love his bass line. Some great drumming from Peter. Fine vocal. Watching You. The highlight on here is actually the backing vocals. Really nice. Then we got Mainline. Good solid track. One of them great rock and roll, early rock, 70s rock riffs. Brilliant. Coming Home, a really strong song. It's Gene Simmons that drives it, along with that lovely bass line. Some great guitar work on this. And the last track is Strange Ways. Love this track. Great track to end the album. Got some great riffs on it. Pretty solid track. I think this is very underrated in the Kiss catalogue. It's a little bit better than the debut, but it's still. I think this is pretty strong. But it does forget about. So that's what I think about it. So what did the critics? Well, despite the intense touring schedule Chris maintained in the 74, it failed to outperform the first album. And it's down. They're blaming down to Casablanca for this. The only single to the release was Let Me Rock and Roll, which failed to chart. 4 months after the album was released, Kiss pulled out of the tour and called back to the studio to record. So there's no reviews of this. So we go straight to the ratings. AllMusic have given it a 4 stars. Blender gave it 3 stars out of 5. Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal 8 out of 10. Encyclopedia Popular Music gave it 2. Pitchfork gave it a 5.3. The New Rolling Stone Album Guide gave it 2. Spin Alternative 3. Uncut 4. So it has a little thing. It did get to number 100 in the US Billboard. Japanese, it got number 46, the highest it got in any album chart. Canada 91 and Australia 98, didn't chart over here. But it has got a gold certification in the United States. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts. Song quality. There are some really good songs on here. There's a couple of the classics, and I think some of their earlier songs do sound good, and especially live. So I should give that a 4 out of 5. Production. Still in the early days of production. It's got a rawness to it, I must admit, but sometimes the guitar solos did get lost. So I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. Reception. Mixed again. Although it has eventually got a gold certificate, it didn't really go down the storm, did it? So I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. Cover design. I don't like this cover. It's very cheap, and I think that may have something to do. It didn't sell. It's not a brilliant cover at all, so I'm going to give that a 1. So for Kisses Hotter Than Hell, again, gives us a total of 12 out of 20. Now, a draw by the numbers, but I've got to pick one. Both albums do have a good quality of songs, but I think Hotter Than Hell is a little bit inconsistent. The both covers are awful. But I think for my favourite album of these two has to be the Blue Öyster Cult's album, Mutiny, Tyranny and Mutiny, because Mutation. Sorry, it's just got a constant all the way through, as well as the Kiss one doesn't. So I'm going to go for Blue Öyster Cult today. So if you want to vote for this one, if you go to the posts page, which was the old community page, there will be a poll, and there'll be a little poll in the live stream tonight. Okay, that's all for this one. Coming up next is Pick and Mix, and this week it's Painted by Numbers, and we're going to look at the studio album work of Mr. David Bowie, who I'm currently doing shorts on a Wednesday for, so it all sort of ties in. Bye for now.